from our editor, Miss Elsa Lewis Brown.
Thank you and good afternoon for those of you who are online. And welcome everyone. We're going to wait until what Kevin is setting up. Kevin is a steel pan player, and he has been playing steel pan since he was about 8 or 9 years old. And I remember the first year that he played for us. Oh, he was a sensation. It was around Carnival. We had invited Pressure Bus Pipe to our affair, and he played that song, Virgin Islands Nice. Pressure was so impressed that he invited him to go to St. Thomas to be on stage with him. And he made so many hits on YouTube. So we've always kept in touch. On occasion, I think he's a senior now here at UVI. And on occasion, he comes and he plays for us. Our last edition, he was the figure that we had on the front cover of our journal. And also, Dr. Hall gave him a full 4-year scholarship to UVI. And so he's working that out now. So Kevin is setting up. Once Kevin sets up, we'll get started. Ready? Where's the mic?
Should I need the mic?
Should it?
Oh,
Okay. This one you don't need because they need to hear you. Oh, so I'll leave that one there.
What are you gonna play?
I'm gonna play So Nice.
So Nice?
You know,
Okay.
thing, and then I'll play So Amazing and turn back.
Okay. So Kevin said he's gonna play So Nice, Virgin Islands Nice by Pressure Bus Pipe, and then he's gonna play a song from Luther Vandross's collection. So sit back and enjoy. I can't believe how much he's grown. He has a deep voice and he's tall and my goodness. Yes. You're not? Okay.
I mean, I don't know. It's not, you're gonna speak into this one. Yeah. So, okay. So when you just talk into this one.
I was saying I can't believe how tall he's grown. He looks like a young man. I guess he's a young man.
Yes.
He is. He is. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the launch of Volume 39 of our first ever twin set of the Caribbean Writer. This seems like it was quite an outpouring in the region in this particular cycle. So we have so many pieces to choose from that we came up with 2 volumes. Of course, there were a number of people who did not make it, but their work was, no one should ever be disappointed because much of what we get from the Caribbean Writer submissions are good pieces, but we have to make a decision. And we have a set of rubrics that we use to make a determination about which piece, and those people who make those decisions are members of our editorial board. Editorial board includes, for this particular edition, we have, of course, Charlene Spencer is my admin and sort of runs the office at Caribbean Writer and my right hand. And we work, there's always work at the Caribbean Writer. We work around the clock and we lean very heavily on each other to get things done. We have editorial board member Patricia Hawkins here.
Journal. And after they're finished rating the pieces, the work begins for us at the Caribbean Writer. We have an advisory editorial board that over the years we've lost some of members. Like one of the first members we had was Derek Walcott, he's now passed. We had Kamau Brathwaite, he's now passed. We had George Lamming, he's now passed. And so and these people are stalwarts. They are the literatis across the world, across the region. So now we have Dr. Cooper, who is also on the editorial board, and Edwidge Dandicat, Kwame Dawes, Lois Garden, Patrick Henry, Earl Lovelace, and Erica Waters. She's always in touch with us, and Tiffany Yanni. And of course, when we look at the journal and how it's progressed, I am the 4th editor of the Caribbean, the 5th editor of the Caribbean Writer, and Tregenza Roach, Lieutenant Governor Tregenza Roach, was the 4th editor of the Caribbean Writer. He edited the journal just before he went off to become a senator. He was the editor of the journal. We've had a lot of shoulders that we stand on here in the Writer, and for this particular twin set edition, we're very proud of the kind of work that we're seeing coming out of the Caribbean. And we want to encourage those of you who are school teachers in the house to use the works to help to plant the students' psyche and the intellect in the place where they get sustenance from. So, and it's always our pleasure to do that. It's a labor of love. We want to thank the cafeteria staff. They have been so very helpful. It's a new team there. And my neighbor, Ms. Nielsen and Ms. King, who always helps to add a little something to the table as well. And now I'd like to invite our Dean, Dean Engelman, who's always there to support us, to give some brief remarks.
Day, I don't even know if it's day, evening, greetings everyone. On behalf of the College of Liberal Arts and Social Sciences class, I welcome you to this event. Today we gather to celebrate the launch of Volume 39, Possibilities Beyond Tradition, Inside of Courage. And when I pause to reflect on the theme for this edition, the word courage jumps at me. It really resonates with me because I know it took courage to maintain this journal, The Caribbean Writer. This journal has never missed a publication. It has been published consistently for 39 years. Is that correct, Ms. Lewis Brown? And this is an accomplishment, a major accomplishment that we in class were extremely proud of. I see Ms. Lewis Brown and her staff as being very courageous. I know it was not easy maintaining this journal. They had to navigate spaces with budget cuts, rising shipping fees, remaining relevant, advances in technology that makes one wonder, should we have a hard print? Do we go electronic? But through it all, they stayed the course and fought to maintain this journal and make sure that it still remained in existence today. To the writers of this edition, Part 1, Part 2, you did it, and because of you, we're here to celebrate. You contributed your essays, poetry, short fiction, book reviews, and everything relevant to maintain our Caribbean culture. So thank you so much for your contribution. A special thank you and congratulations to you, Ms. Lewis Brown, for your leadership. Truly appreciate all that you do to make this happen. Thank you to Ms. Charlene Spencer as well, and the members of the editorial board. And everyone present who also will be participating on the program this evening, thank you for your contributions. To the attendees, it's not lost on me that you have a choice in how you could be spending your Thursday evening. I truly thank you for choosing to be here with us this evening as we celebrate the launch of Volume 39. Welcome, have a good program.
Next up, we have our professor, we have our Lieutenant Governor, Janessa Roach, who will bring some brief remarks.
Thank you, Alcest. Good evening, everyone. I want to say a special good evening to our dean, who looks different every time I see her. So sometimes I don't recognize her. I'm trying to get this a little bit here. A microphone challenge, but just a little bit. Oh, you have one of these little TikTok people will be going on. Good. That's good. I think that's okay. Very good, thank you. And a special good evening to our editor, Ms. Frances Lewis Brown, to all of the contributors, the students, the staff. It's a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon. I wanted to comment on one of the things that Alcest mentioned about how difficult it is to make the selections for the Caribbean Writer. And when I did it, we had a kind of a metrics where we had like points. And the poems do go off to the editorial board without any identifying information. I mean, they just get the title and the piece, and then they score. And we started out saying, okay, I think the highest point was 20, and then we'll publish everybody from 18 to 20. You see what I mean, right? It's only 1.17, and then there still were too many. So they were like, okay, 19 and 20. Right? It's that difficult, and the work is so beautiful, you really don't want to reject anything. Right? When we won the election of 2022, right? Imagine, so the election was November of 2022. And the inauguration was 7th of January, 2023. So Christmas of 22, I'm not even inaugurated yet for the second term of the governorship. And I'm in Emancipation Garden with my caroling group because I also, well, I tried to sing. They made me sound good, right? And people were asking me, you want to run for governor the next time? Now they're talking about 2026. We're at the end of 22 and they're already politically in 2026. You don't even know who will be here in 4 years, but they want to know if you're going to run for governor then. I say that to illustrate a point that our society really sometimes have the things not work. And the people who we should celebrate, we don't celebrate as we should. This young man played, Mr. Williams, he played when I became a senator the first time. So he played for us in January of 2013, 12 years ago. So you imagine he was like this. I think he was 11 or 10 or something like that. And I've watched him just become this masterful musician. And he played for the Christmas party for the Department of Human Services over here. And he played at the interlude, the prelude. And people were still arriving, people were still complimenting everybody about how nice they look and how they will have a good time. And he was up on that stage and he played beautifully, whether there was applause, whether they noticed he was playing, nothing affected him playing that music. I always try to learn things from young people. And I just sat there and I looked at him and I said, that's the way to be. You practice your craft, you practice your talent, whether anybody is looking, whether anybody is applauding, whether anybody is agreeing, you just keep doing your thing. And when I say the society sometimes inverts things, the poets, the musicians, the writers, the painters, the Marco Jumbis, these are the elements of our society, I think, we lose the opportunity to celebrate. And they are at the heart of who we are. They are at the heart of who we are. When I write, and I praise God that I recognize that writing was important when I was probably about 10. And I had a teacher by the name of Bertica Hodge Henningson. And we were in the 7th grade at the Charlotte Amalia High School, 7th grade at the Aspinall Junior High School. And she would take us to the university on her own time for the Black History programs, and she would carry us so we could get on stage with the college students and we would read what we had written. And that was her way of saying, what you're doing is important. It doesn't matter that you're a little child, you haven't gotten to the age of majority or whatever, what you're doing is important. And I will never forget her for that. And I believe that people who are in service of the arts and the promotion of literature and music really, really deserve our gratitude. And we should applaud them at every opportunity that we can. Thank you, because I know that writing keeps me grounded. When people ask me what is the most important thing that I aspire to, even now it still is an aspiration to me. I aspire to be a poet. And you know what? Being a poet, you can't lie. Being a musician, you can't lie. If you don't feel it, you can't convince anybody of it. You can't lie. You can't make up a thing that you don't feel. You can't make up a thing that you haven't experienced. It will show in what you're writing that it is not authentic, that it is not true. And that's what I aspire to be an authentic person who salutes the arts and who continues practicing and trying to become better at each time. And I am grateful for the fact that this piece was published in this volume of the journal. Dr. George asked me to read a poem at her investiture. She didn't ask me to write a poem, and I was so glad she didn't ask me to write a poem. Because if anybody asks me to write a poem, I'm sure I can't do it. I can't do that good. You know, I'll be in the car, or I'll be walking, or I'll be talking to someone, and a poem will come in my brain. And I have to rush someplace and try to do some kind of recording of it and write it down. But she gave me enough time, and I kept thinking about it. What am I going to share? What am I going to read? What's appropriate, you know, for this moment? And I was coming home from a trip, I think it was in South Carolina, and the line came in my brain. Some dreams are made of paper, and others of stone. I was like, aha, that's the poem right there. And then I set upon it, and maybe it took another month or so, month and a half, to really let it be born and to come out. So I was really, really proud of it. I was really happy that she really enjoyed it, and that it enshrined so many aspects of what I thought her coming to this university would mean. So I thank you for publishing it. I don't have it with me. I guess it's on the, oh, it's right here. I haven't even seen the journal to know what page or anything of the sort. Is it?
It's in the front.
In the front, okay. And the reason, it's called the Dream Song. And a long time ago, when on the 20th anniversary of my graduation from high school, they asked me to address the class. And I said, I don't want to address them just by talking, I want to write them a poem. And I was looking at a little documentary in South Africa, and they were talking about their tradition of praise poetry, praising in song. And I named that poem the Praise Song, and this one is the Dream Song. I'll just read a little. So it's the Dream Song, 2025, Sophia. There is a great number of those who believe that there is a time and a place for dreaming, and then a time and a place for the dream to become a tangible thing, a thing realized. Then there are those who believe that a dream is its own fulfillment, its own reward, its own promise, its own thing, possessing already a light of its own. For some dreams are made of paper and others of stone. Dreams which drift aimlessly on wild winds, and dreams which drop their anchor in the far recesses of the soul. There are dreams which depart the sandy shore, riding on the afterlife of great waves, cautiously straddling rough water out. And yet others which aim instead towards a welcoming shore, rising from the depths of the beautiful black, the great wonder, the thunderous ocean that is their source. This grand stage, this beauteous city, this learning place set between mountains here and those across the sea of hurried memory, all herein the construct of dreams. Yet dreams still are of the quantity infinite, so many yet still in the making, seeking out the body to nourish, the heart to save. They call out to you, Sophia. Sophia. This title Arabic in origin, but Eucrusian in form, noble, a heritage of queens. Sophia, pure, untroubled, serene, filtered from the dark, the awful slaving past, carrying the path to freedom proclaimed. Here you come on the wings of black angels, an African spawn, in a time of fire, pestilence, and flood, with cyclones furious, sprouting up even as the earth herself is shaking. You have come to share us away. That's a problem. So thank you for inviting me, and I look forward to hearing some of the selections and to just engaging with you this evening.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Roach. Well, we have a piece, for this particular edition, we've gotten a lot of praise from across the Caribbean, across the diaspora. And there was one person who's actually sent us a voice today. I want to share that with you, just 2 seconds. Yes, are you UK? Okay. The Caribbean diaspora is wide. Who publish in the journal, who are in Africa, Europe, Middle East, all over the Caribbean. We're just international.
Hello, my name is Joy, and I'm sending you greetings from the United Kingdom.
It was just
We can wait another minute.
I'd like to call Police Sergeant Arthur Joseph up to read a poem. I always include him because he's one of our community readers who loves poetry, and sometimes he acts like I'm squeezing his arm to bring him to read, but he does like to do this. And after he comes on, I'm going to have Ellerina, Professor Ellerina, our ballerina, UVI here, dance for us. Okay.
Good afternoon. It's interesting though, because this is how long I read poems now.
Long time.
Long time. I think every time they come out with edition, I'll say send me a poem like a day or two. And say get familiar with it. Like as if I'm that good.
Apparently you are.
I will tell you the name of this poem and its author at the end. Open palms meets animal skin. We may not understand, but these beings are kin. And the sound they make reverberates off walls, eardrums, and chest. When it reaches my heart, I'm moved to action. A command received sends me to move, to feel, to express. The sounds of this drum are me. The me that was destined to be a me that was predetermined. I am the results of brow sweat, pumped out chest, and hard labor performed by the oppressed. The ancestors cheer me on as I take my first step, as I sway in my hips, catches their breath, and the stomp of my feet echoes their heartbeat, the same one I possess. As I dance and glide, the swing of my skirt and the smile stretched wide fills them with joy. When I toy with my partner, They laugh and grin at my jest. Our daughters in the flesh, they say she thrives. And I strive to continue their song. Lest we forget, it's to them we belong. This poem is by Bambula. Raven Phillips is the author. Thank you.
See what I told you? The guy is good. And he's a traffic man.
That's so you know you'll see him. If you get into an accident, you know that you're going to see he's going to send someone.
When I write your ticket, I say,
So
thank you very much, Arthur. We always try to get people in the community involved in in Caribbean Writer because that's the purpose of producing these pieces. Now we'll have Professor Elorina, our resident
ballerina, here, you, yeah. Okay, so Professor Elorina is dancing to Where We Going Gabon by Micaiah Labadie. I saw your weathered face, the death grip on your weapon, captured in stone, and rivers moved inside me. I felt the need to sit within your shadow and ask you the question still bravely uttered by griots haunted by the past, a curse passed through generations. Queen Mary,
where we going, Gabon? Now that the lands that exhausted you have been converted into museums and the old masters have been replaced by new ones, where do I march to let my rage be known? Queen Mary, I found your flame in the golden eye of the sky, still blazing sometimes so fiercely it sweats us out of our comfortable clothes, begs us to strip naked once again and escape to the seas our ancestors fled into. The books that speak of you do not tell me how to walk is in your footsteps, only what big souls they are to fill, indeed. Still I try, even as I singe my fingertips at the march. In the forest trails, I hear the cries of women holding grief in their wounds. I feel the spirits of men longing for the warmth of home, a home they never knew and could never return to. Queen Mary, or where are we going to Gabon? We live a life that was merely given to us, force-fed on a platinum spoon. We reproduce our trauma and call it tradition. We celebrate our subjugation and uplift the names of our oppressors. Queen Mary, where are we going to Gabon? We forget ourselves and call it passion, and our youths continue to die by our hands, while our leaders enable their own corruption. Queen Mary, where are we going to Gabon? Perhaps our troubles have been so cleverly hidden in plain sight. They are no longer tangible enough for a sugar knife. Enveloped in a darkness, our torches can no longer permeate. Queen Mary, where are we going to Gabon? Thank you very much. I wanted to tell you who Michaela Labadie is. She's a Virgin Islands author, and I don't know if she's here tonight, but we always enjoy reading her work. Now, up next is student poetry reading. We have some students on the complex. we're moving a little bit behind, so we have Regina Keels, who's a member of our editorial on board as well. We brought her students along with her. We have two excellent teachers here tonight who are going to showcase some of the work that their students do by commenting on the poem in Caribbean writing. Good evening, everyone.
I'm Regina Keels. I am the advisor of the Synchro Educational Complex Poetry Club, and these are some of our students from our club. So this evening, what they're going to do is to read from the Caribbean writer. And before they do that, we'd like to give our complete appreciation and gratitude to the Caribbean writer, because these are, in fact, our new upcoming poets and talent. They're going to read expressively, and then they're going to have a very, very short discussion of the poem.
Good afternoon. My name is Jadielis de la Cruz, and I'm in 12th grade.
Good afternoon. My name is Anaya Mason, and I am in 12th grade.
Afternoon. My name is Yvonne Tissu Fraguet, and I'm also in 12th grade.
Our poem tonight is called The Story the Ocean Tells Us by Jacqueline Adonis, dedicated to our ancestral fathers and to the memory of my grandfather, Mr. Benjamin Davis, who was an avid and master sailor and the first captain to sail between Anguilla and St. Martin, thereby charting the course to a sustainable economic route for Anguillans.
The seas are turbulent, and my heart feels despair. There are many of us packed on this ship, yet I feel alone. In the silence of my mind, the ocean's words crash within me. My mind's eye wanders.
Am I the only one to whom the ocean speaks?
As I listen, ocean's words turn into songs. Not ever before had I heard her melody. She changes the tenor of the sounds and the rhythm of her moves. There are times the roaring baritone noise of ocean is furiously loud. The rolling soprano waves are as high as mountains, the alto of their ripples running through the valleys of my mind. A rhythm.
Oh, so slow.
Causing my stomach to dance to a nauseating beat. Sometimes I'm afraid. Other times I'm excited. As the ship rolls over the mountainous waves, I wonder,
will it thrust forward or roll to the side, almost touching the water's edge?
Those around me are visibly afraid. The fear shows through their tightly closed eyes. The waves of emotions heard inside of the ship are as fierce as nature's torrents on the outside. The seams of the boat threaten to burst from the vast number of chained suns and from the deluge of their tears. They are taking me away from my native land, taking me to some distant place. Why then is there a song in my heart? Hush. I wonder,
will I be able to sing the Lord's song in this strange place?
Still, I am in love with the thunderous waves and the fishy smell of the wind. I am in love with the ocean. Yes, this place is different from what I've known.
Different from the steadfast earth and its stony terrain.
Different from the smell of the fresh dirt after a morning rain.
Different from the very color from which I was molded.
Yet I am in love with the ocean. I feel a deep sense of belonging. I feel like I can sail through these oceans, through any storm, on any day, to go anywhere. I realize, although I sail enslaved, I am as free as the wind. Before my voyage, I knew that I was a son of the soil. Now I know that I am a man of the sea, and I enjoy the stories that the ocean tells me.
So one of the
first things that I do is first thing I'm gonna do is ask you about the two poems you had. You have two poems and you chose this one. Can you tell us why you chose this poem?
I'll go first. The reason why I chose this poem is because I distinctly noticed it talked about the ocean and music, and those are two things that I hold dear to me because I love listening to music and I love going to the beach as someone who's from the Caribbean.
I found like the similar thing with the ocean, but I also liked the fact that it spoke about a historical event, and I feel that syncs with me more deeply.
I personally like the poem because I feel like it was different. At first, looking at the title, you wouldn't expect it to be about this. I didn't expect it to be about this. But seeing how the poem went into this topic and just explained all the different emotions that he was going through, it was very interesting to see how they wrote this poem.
So what surprised you about how the author covered the subject?
So what surprised me was how positive his tone was in light of it being a poem basically about slavery. When I noticed how the author was able to find solace in such a dark time, it really like took me aback into the author's writing style.
I thought that this poem was very surprising because of the new perspective, because when we hear them talk about this specific event, slavery, you hear about all the sorrow and all the negative emotions, but in this poem, it really showcases the positive side of this person because even in their sorrow and their despair, they still were able to find something that they love and really develop it. It was very interesting.
What was more surprising to me was how many references they could make to things around them in such a moment like being. Okay, I don't want to explain that. I don't want to explain the whole thing.
You good?
Okay, because okay, like being on a ship and explain like having people on the ship, they reference it to like the outside and nature, and I find and I find it nice that they were able to like humanify all these things on the outside and that they could find positives within the things.
Which line resonated with you? We can go down.
I would say the line that resonated with me the most is, "Why then is there a song in my heart?" Why? Because it kind of highlights how even in such a grim moment, he was able to find a positive, able to find some way to cope with the situation or something to help them through and keep them going.
My line is, as I listen, ocean's words turn into songs. This line, I find it interesting because he kind of personifies the ocean into a person figure, and you get to hear just the different words that he uses. Interesting in like the music aspect as well to explain all the emotions and things. So that's why I like that line.
There's a lot.
All right, we can
that's fine.
this is a good place where we can move on. This is Synchro Educational Complex Poetry Club, and presently they're working on their own anthology. So these are your new writers up and coming, and again, we're very grateful for giving them this opportunity to present.
Thank you very much, Regina. We really appreciate that.
I see that we have quite a number of people online. I see Timothy Hodge, who has a piece in this edition as well. A really interesting poem about politics in Anguilla. We have C.M. Hardy Walcott. We have Adrian Rajasa. We have Celia Serendo, Summer Laird, Palak Jingani, Linda Crawford, Patrice Bowman, Fiola, then there's Rose Flores, Siobhan Lyons, Lomar Shubnari, and then we have Tim Hodge. And I forgot to mention that we have Vanda Espinosa with us tonight, who is one of the new persons at the editorial board for volume 40. We have Jamila Williams, Julie Chapman Dorset, and Elaine. I think that might be Elaine Jacobs. Okay, so it's great to see so many people online. I want to thank you for signing in with us. And now we'd like to ask, who is she? Miss Lizianos. Oh, Lizianos. Lizianos, one of the superstar teachers from St. Bernard Central High School. And she and Miss Keels and another educator are going to discuss a story that leads off the journal and really, they said it gave them goosebumps. But so they're going to summarize it, just summarize the story and then talk about the residents, how the story resonates with them. And the story is written by Yakima Coffey out of Dominica. Okay? And that poem that was just read and responded to was written by one of our own professors here in College of Liberal Arts and Social Sciences. She's Dr. Jacqueline Adonis. So I don't see her online, but she submitted, and that was one of the pieces they selected. Okay?
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Good night, everybody. So as Ms. Brown said, I am Lisa Llanos, and I am at St. Bernard Central High. I teach 11th and 12th grade. I have my colleague here at Complex.
Yes, I'm at Complex and I teach English 12, senior British literature.
My name is Chinenya Jacob and I teach 9th grade English.
So we'll just begin. As soon as I read the first line, I was hooked. Because the protagonist says, for as long as I can remember, I hated my grandfather. And it immediately pulled me in because anybody that knows me know I love my family. I am a 7th generation Crucian. I am a Williams, Jacobs, Schuster. On my father's side, I'm Llanos, obviously, but I'm an Encarnacion, which many people don't know. And I love my family bad. And so it drew me in immediately. Miss Keys, Miss Jacobs.
Yes, definitely.
So, I implore you to buy the book and read for yourself. I think the most we can say is our protagonist, or what I will say is our protagonist certainly had a shifting, and that shifting came at the very end. And I believe there was a turning of hearts, would you say?
Definitely was a turning of hearts. When I read the first sentence, I was shocked. And I didn't know if I would like this man, because again, who doesn't like your grandfather? And so I'm going along with the story and I'm like, oh, okay, where is this going? And then, what comes after and then? And so at the end of the story, it's a brilliant turn. But before we get there, Ms. Jacob, what did you think about the beginning?
What I thought about the beginning was I had to look for the concept of inherited resentment. There is a reason for this hatred, but it was passed down from generation to generation. So I was really off balance. I wanted to understand why you would have this negative feelings towards your grandfather.
And that shocked me too, because we don't find out why until later on, and he doesn't know why either. And I think in our society it resonates because a lot of times these very deep, strong feelings are against a person and we don't even know why. And he does say, I never asked them what he did to make them hate him so.
And so this text is one of memory, of storytelling, of West Indian identity. And I think it translates so well here, not only because we're in the midst of the Caribbean, but we have so many people from other islands here. And I feel that it would resonate with our students. And You know, I think it was last year, I was afforded the opportunity to travel to Florida for the Model Schools Conference. So, you know, I hem up the HMH people. HMH produces our textbook, and I was like, ain't got a budget, there's nothing in your book. So what will you do? And I still don't have the answer yet, but I'm done with it. There is, to their credit, one lowly point from a Puerto Rican, and I thank them for that, but ain't got nothing for me. The children don't see themselves in there, and I really appreciate you, Ms. Brown. You know, I don't sing it till the day I die, because she really was instrumental in encouraging me to continue doing what I had always done. I teach American English to ninth graders, but I teach AP Lit, and you can't tell me being a history teacher, because I always infuse what I do with us, the story of us, the Virgin Islands. And I saw in this text the ability to translate and connect to other texts. And I wanted to touch on that a little. I don't know if you read White Sagacity, it's one that my AP students read. And there is a character in the very beginning, Tia. And Tia had this learned hatred and resentment because her family, her mom, was formerly enslaved, and there was a rebellion, and rightfully so. But little Tia grew up with little Annette, who was white. And it was fine for a while, and then in the end, not at the end of the novel, but the end of their friendship resulted in Tia flinging a stone, chopping her own head, and she did so with tears streaming down. And it reminded me of this text, this learned hatred. And we don't always, you know, I do like the White Sargasso text, but we don't always have to depend solely on the text that they say we have to depend on. And Ms. Brown, no, I fireball a lot of what is considered canon, and I replace it with something different. And these stories give me the ability to give my students rich text that is filled with imagery and all the themes you could imagine. I mean, this story is maybe 6 pages long, and it's still very rich. I can use this in my AP class, I can.
I second what Ms. Yano says, because I do approach British literature in a decolonized fashion. I believe that we have plenty of stories. Caribbean people are people of stories. We are born with stories, we dream stories, we sing stories. Even the language that we speak, some people call it a separate language or Crucian. It's very Lilton, very beautiful, very musical, right? And just filled with present, past, future. When I read this story and I compare it to writings that I've done in my classical, I would say, educational British literature, some of the people that I put down was T.S. Eliot. T.S. Eliot, because he builds on allusions and he builds on lots of connections between tradition. And in this piece, I see that. I see a lot of the themes, let's say, like I see the Jesus figure theme in here, but we did it in a Caribbean way. So even though you see this young man who goes out with his grandfather, and his grandfather fishes him, his grandfather catches him, his grandfather transforms him in the same way that Jesus would ask us to transform one another and touching one another. When I read that, again, it gave me chills. But then again, the Caribbean aspect came into it, because then you have a little magic, you know, coming in there. So we write stories, we create stories. We're using a lot of what we would call, we're gonna call archetypes. So we're here in the Caribbean, but we're also part of the world. And we also have our stories to tell, and we do them magically, and we do them well. So to cut this short, because I can go on and on about this wonderful stuff, I see so many parts in this story that I can definitely take into not just my honors class, but I can see how it has so many layers to the story that I can use it in my regular class, I can use it in my honors class, I can use it with low-level students and build all the way up. It's a beautiful story.
I completely agree with everything you have said. I'd also like to incorporate this into my 9th grade students class, because it has lots of, well, I'll say positive influence that children can learn, such as trying not to inherit resentment from your parents. You need to know why. You really need to know why, because from this story we learned that this man was only able to talk about his personal experiences after he left Dominica. He only said it at the end of the story, and after that he died. So people did not understand what he went through. It was all about what people said. There's this lady who tells the story, the gossip. I know we have something like that here. They always tell you everything about every other person. They know the story of everybody, but they don't know the actual thing. And these can be part of the reasons why children, you incite them to start hating people all of a sudden. So we really, really need to, consider when we are, going through this kind of hatred with our family. It's family, so we really need to work it out. Thank you.
One of the lines that I really love that's filled with symbolism that is quintessentially Caribbean is when the young man goes and he gets the cocoa tea for his grandfather, and he says, "It's just the milk in a ton, tea still good." And you think he's talking about tea that's been curdled, but he's not talking about tea that's been curdled. When you look beneath the surface, grandfather's still good. But the reputation and the things that people say about him is a curdled part, but we don't see that. We just see that it smelled bad and we want to throw it away. But the grandfather gives the idea that, it's still good. It's still good to drink. There's still something good in this. And I think that is one of the beautiful themes in here, that old age is something that sometimes we look at it and we figure that you're done. And I think that's why this is another level of the story. Old people have stories to tell, and they have lives that they've lived.
Thank you. I'm currently reading with my AP students, Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zorania Hurston. And a lot of what we're talking about here, I'm reminded of the text. In this short story, The Harmonica's Tune, they speak of the horizon, and so does Zorania Hurston. And my students and I, when we look at this, we're able to make connections. And in many times, I can supplement or even replace even text by African American authors with stories from right here. I know we are at time, but I encourage you to read the story, get the book, because it is very rich. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This is so encouraging, because this is the thrust of the Caribbean Writers, to get into the community, get into the schools. So buy a copy. Buy a copy, buy a t-shirt. That's how we support ourselves. Now we have some people online who are waiting to share excerpts from their work. As you know, we're running short on time, so those of you who are online who are going to read, just do a brief excerpt, tell us who you are, where you're calling from, and give us the title of your story and give us a brief excerpt. Thank you so much. Who's gonna go? Is there anyone who's put their hand up? I see Timothy. Who's that? Miss Crawford? Miss Crawford?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can't hear her.
Are you able to hear me well?
You're muted. You're muted.
I've unmuted, but it's not.
Great. Okay, great. So we can hear you now.
Oh, fantastic. I am located in Southern California, and I was born and raised in Barbados. And I'll jump right into my poem called Ricin Salt. And you can tell from that mashup of words, ricin and salt, that I'll speak a little bit in this poem about traditions, traditions lost, traditions changed, traditions stolen, etc. I'll jump right in. Ricin salt. A gnarled reddish brown hand tosses salt over its old woman's shoulder, fresh garlic already pushed in the bosom. Its grown daughter's fingers learn to ease rice into the creaky corners of their front house floorboards on Old Year's night. That daughter's child is born with eager, soft hands, cupped, waiting their turn, salt to blind the devil's way, rice to prosper. Generations keep on scattering salvation salt, bringing in good years with reverend rituals. Then foreign friends' hands want to be let in, which leads to talking with mouths, to silencing of praise of hands, which leads to grumble from visiting throats and tongues. Why are the evils stinging our eyes? Why has our rice brought roaches and rats? Why is our prosperous good luck gone? Future generations of hands gesture and exclaim. Chortles of disbelief spread across the land. Laughter can still be heard today. Our hands never taught you to right shoulder the salt, nor banish woman from salting the food during bleeds. Some others' hands trained you to rinse eyes in rice water, to clairvoyant the duppies, or confuse the duppy umbrellas. You lost? Or palms never put water to boil.
Thank
We
you.
never told you to cook the rice. Or did
Thank
we?
you.
End of poem. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to ask you, I know we don't have a lot of time left, and some of our people are leaving because they were in classes and so forth. So even though I know there's something about a writer that you become so engrossed in what you write that you don't want to do it halfway. But just take an excerpt, just a little piece, just give us a little taste of what you've written in the journal, and we'll thank you for that. Okay, so anyone else? Thank you very much. Enjoy that. Anyone else who'd like to share? 2 minutes? That's almost impossible, right? So 3 minutes? Is there anyone else who would like to share who's online? Tim, I see you looking there. Okay, well, we can't hear you. Devon? Unmute your microphone. Is that unmuted? Tim, unmute your mic. You have to unmute your mic. We can't unmute you. You know, while we're here waiting, I noticed Anaya Mason was one of your readers, and Anaya Mason
is a contributor to the last edition of the Caribbean Writer. She contributed a piece of her artwork, and she actually sent a piece in for this edition as well. So she's multi-talented. So anyway, if we don't have Tim, if he can't seem to get through. Okay, so we would at this point.
Okay. Yeah. Hello.
Tim, you have 3 minutes. I know. Just give us the basics for your play and your.
Okay. So I wrote this play called Affairs of the State. It's about a conversation that actually took place between Ronald Webster and Robert Bradshaw, which led about the activities surrounding the breakaway of Angola from the state of St. Nevis, Angola. So this conversation actually took place between these two political enemies, as it were, 10 years after the events of 1967. And so you can just imagine the conversation that would have taken place between two political enemies, as it were. And so it's a fascinating conversation. Actually took place. I was not there, of course, so I used literary license to create the competition. But it has a lot of significance to not just to Angolans and Kittians. It relates to decolonization, to self-domination, to our history, and it's rooted deep in Caribbean, the realities of Caribbean, in the colonial and post-colonial reality that was the 1960s, 70s, and perhaps continues to today. So the play is something which is going to be put on in Anguilla, in the Virgin Islands, and St. Kitts, and even further beyond. So we look forward to that, and I want you, the audience, to look forward to it as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tim. Well, we've come to the end of our program tonight. I don't see anyone else who would like to share. So we've come to the end of our program tonight, and we want to thank everyone for coming out. Like the Dean said, we know you could be doing something better with your Thursday night, but you chose us. So we really appreciate that. And we hope that you will purchase the journal, purchase a t-shirt. That'll help us to continue to publish. This is how we stay alive, is by trying to generate revenue to keep the journal published.
So I literally just, while I was in the middle of typing this, but you need to answer me on the question about
Okay. All right. So are there any questions from anyone in the audience? Any comments? Any questions?
I could play the audio now. I could play the audio.
Okay, play the audio now.
Hello, my name is Joy, and I'm sending you greetings from the United Kingdom, where it's now getting dark early as winter approaches, and where you certainly need to stay inside of courage to live at this time of year. Congratulations on the launch of this, the 39th volume of The Caribbean Writer. The need for 2 volumes certainly spoke to me about the strength of feeling around this subject of courage and tradition. And we know that our people are certainly courageous in the way we have navigated our existence and position in so many places across the globe. I am proud to have my work presented in the volumes. And as you gather to celebrate, I send good wishes for the future of the Caribbean writer and a hearty well done to all contributors and the organisers of this well-established and thriving literary journal for the region.
Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Is there anyone here who has a question, any comments about the wrap-up? Never know, thanks. All right.
I just wanted to ask the students.
So you wanted, Lieutenant Governor wanted to ask the students a question.
Thank
I
you.
just wanted to read a short poem.
Yeah, somebody.
Okay,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
I said I just wanted to read a short poem.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yes. All right. This is a short poem that I did the other day for Rotary. It's only going to be about 2 minutes. When I think of Rotary, an unseen treasure out of this world comes to mind. One that is waiting to share its wealth and comfort to those who stand in line. And that's not all on the Rotary landscape as it aims to bridge the social gaps, even if it comes down to acting like Snoop Dogg now and again, just to do a few raps. Bold as Rotary appeared to be, waiting for him was Mr. Polo, who wanted to mash up the place. With his wings stretched out as he flew high like a turtle dove often does in 100-yard race. Rotary calmed down, took a breath, then challenged Mr. Polo to take his smile off his face as he offered him the sweet immunization plan that was, to say the least, a man-made dance. Poor Mr. Polio. He didn't know what to do. Should he cry or just step outside the gate? Mr. Polio knew he had some strengths. Invading the nervous system was one, and if things got good for him, he could cause paralysis too. He could also stroke things up like a bunch of angry bees holding a stolen bell as they lay waiting to lift their heads up high like we humans do, come what may, for as long as we continue to be the order of the day.
Thank
My
you.
friends, if the truth be known, Mr. Polio got on the road thousands of years ago. He took lives back then and used his deadly campaign and stretch to grow with a flow. But since Rotary stepped in and started to shine its light with a magic flow, Mr. Polio had no choice but to swing, wheel, and come again after he got his first blow. Only two large countries around the world got Mr. Polio in place. That's Afghanistan and Pakistan, and they're really holding up the Rotary 100% race. But knowing Rotary, as I do, it will no doubt continue to do what it does best, and that is to get everyone to take the four-way test. So that's just a little
Mr.
something
Ali,
that I
thank you
did
for
for
that.
Rotary.
That's not a piece that was published in these two journals. It's your original that you've added in, and that's very creative. Thank you so much for giving Rotary a plug.
Thank you.
It's not a volume 39 piece, but it's a piece that we appreciate. Thank you very
No
much.
problem. Thank you.
Okay, so are there any other questions? Any other persons who have a piece in volume 39? If not, let's go back to the question that the Lieutenant Governor wanted to ask the students, and then we're going to wrap up.
It was just simple. Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to thank the students for sharing with us, for your interpretation, and thank you to your teacher and to the other teachers here with us. I just wondered, you write as well? Okay. Excellent. All right, thank you. I wanted to encourage you to write as well, because that's so important.
Well, my goal in poetry club is to do exactly
What interpret and
to give them an opportunity to develop their own craft.
nice.
So I actually attract a lot of the students who are a little bit quieter on the quieter side, and it gives them an opportunity to have a place to go and to use their creativity. A lot of the students are coming from art, they're coming from music, they've been interested in poetry, or they are writing poetry. So what I teach them is different forms of poetry, like Professor Sue said, we go from just looking at a word and the beat of a word. We look at this poetry, and by the end of the year, we amass several different genres, and we put it together in our own anthology. So I want them to come to presentations like this so that they can see other writers, writers in the real world, people who exercise their craft. You are a great model for them. To show them, of course, that we're on, and of course, the police chief was here.
So Joseph,
I have
yeah.
the rank correct.
Yeah.
To show that even though we're doing a lot of different things in our lives, and we have different professions, that the creative aspect of it, the quiet reflection, poetry, finding beauty in life is very important to having a fluid life.
Absolutely.
And so that's what I want to share.
Good, thank you.
And I wanted to say that we have a special shout out tonight to Adrian Edwards. Adrian Edwards is a cover artist. And Adrian Edwards is actually Regina's brother. But this is a piece that, if you put the two books together, is a nice coffee table piece. And it's a good purchase, so please, give it as a gift for Christmas. Buy one for your coffee table and enjoy the stories, enjoy the poem. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you for those of you who are online. And we will see you soon when we do selections from the poetry or the fiction section in our online Thursday evening responses. Thank you very much. Okay. Charlie Spencer, she's my admin at Curvin Writer. There she is, right there. Yes. Thank you for coming, everyone. Says the Marvin Williams Prize on behalf of her husband, Marvin Williams. Thank you for coming, Jasil. I kept saying, I know that lady, I know that person. I kept saying, I know the person, but I didn't recognize it. Miss Lizzo, thank you so much. And if you ever need to have any for your class, if you get the school to buy a set for the library, you do such a great job. I think we need to encourage our students to do this, and I appreciate that. Thank you for last night. Yeah.